Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast brought to you by BuckeyeHuddle.com. I am Marc Givler. Got Kevin Noon here. Signing Day Spectacular continues with our recruiting capsules. Just going to kind of go back. We're going to evaluate and just kind of look back on all these guys who are signing with Ohio State today, kind of take about 10, 12 minutes with all of them. And we are on to Jelani Thurman, 4-star tight end, Langston Hughes High School, just outside of Atlanta. This was an interesting one to follow, Kevin. This was not someone who maybe we thought like, oh, he's going to be in the class all along. It was kind of a late developing thing. He wasn't like right there on the radar, for 3 years. And it wasn't like a Jeremy Ruckert recruitment or something like that, or a Cade Stover recruitment, where this was a guy for them for a long time. It just sort of just slowly bubbled beneath the surface. And then before you knew it, we didn't really have him as in the class. And then before, the official visit happens and it's like, oh, they're going to get this kid. But just Kevin, your thoughts on Jelani and just, obviously they could have maybe used 2 in this class, but they get a really good one here.
Yeah, this wasn't like, Marcus Ball, which just happened all of a sudden. I mean, sight unseen, but, it kind of had a little bit of a feel there. I mean, he is a 4-star recruit, had about 30 reported offers. You never know how many really they have. I mean, sometimes they don't come out and say, oh, yeah, these 12 other small schools offered me. But 6'5", 230, a really talented player. I mean, he comes out of a high school that is a newer high school, but seems to be churning out some talent right there. Let me throw up some of the footage there. You see him out there, lined up out wide. I mean, obviously Ohio State does a lot more where the tight end is attached rather than doing a lot of the flex. I mean, but there he is, taking, a house call right there. I mean, I think that he's going to be somebody that is going to be important for this offense, because you look at what they've done with the Jeremy Ruckert, and obviously now with Cade Stover, and then you can go back to previous iterations with Nick Vanette and Jeff Hireman and guys like that. I mean, it's funny because I was working on some tail of the tape things, and there have been some concerns down the line about Cade Stover and where some of his blocking has been recently. I'm like, what kind of bizarro world are we living in now where people are concerned about where the tight ends in terms of their blocking? Well, all they're doing is catching passes. Well, isn't that what everybody wanted all along? Well, Jelani Thurman certainly is somebody who seems to be a skilled offensive playmaker. Now let's see what he's able to do in terms of some of that blocking that Ohio State certainly will want to have, especially when it's out there running 12 personnel, which is 1 back 2 tights.
Yeah, he is going to have to bulk up a little bit, but he has a great frame to do that. He reminds me a lot of Jeremy Ruckert. He really does. He plays, probably more receiver than tight end in high school. He's kind of like a basketball athlete. So to me, he reminds me of a Jeremy Ruckert. They recruited Mike Gesicki. Obviously, he ended up at Penn State, but that's the type of athlete I think they're getting here. Obviously, both of those guys were drafted into the NFL, so it's pretty high praise. He's able to, again, go up. You just kind of watch there on the video. He's able to go up there in the back corner, go right over top of some poor kid. He's able to make plays. He can stress defenses vertically down the seam. So it looks like Ohio State is trying to do more of that with the tight end this year with Cade Stover. They've certainly went to that well more than maybe we thought they would. And so maybe that's some foreshadowing here of where they'd like to kind of take this offense. And it's kind of been the boy who cried wolf with that over the years of this is going to be the year of the tight end, but we've seen a lot more evidence of that this year and what I would think maybe what they want to do moving forward. So, hopefully, I guess this is kind of where things are going at the position where they are going to try and be a little bit more dynamic. Maybe stress defenses a little bit more with the tight end down the seam, down the field. But I really like this kid. I think he's extremely, extremely talented. Just again, you can't really teach the size, the wingspan, the way he can run at that size, I think is pretty special. So this is a guy who I think a lot of people at one point thought might go to Auburn. He's got some family close there, and he did visit actually after he committed, and even before he committed, he had been visiting there. So this was a good job by Ohio State. Actually, let's dive into that for a minute. Kevin Wilson leaves right before signing day. Keenan Bailey in replace. Just how good of a job, I guess, was this, or maybe what does it say about Keenan Bailey that he was able to quickly kind of go meet with Jelani and kind of keep things on the rails here for the Buckeyes?
Yeah, we're certainly in the silly season in terms of coach movement and everything else. And what does that mean? You got new faces and new places who are trying to assemble classes. You have guys that are committed long time to programs who are having to hang on for dear life. And there certainly were concerns about where Jelani Thurman thoughts were. I mean, if he was going to go to Auburn, people sit there and they're like, well, that's in Alabama, right? Well, yeah, it's just kind of across the state line from Georgia. It's not that far away. So, Ohio State certainly had to kind of dodge some bullets there. Keenan Bailey's just very dynamic guy. I mean, hell, I don't think Keenan Bailey's all that much older than these kids that he's out there recruiting, to be quite honest. I mean, he is older than them, but not much. So it's a testament to what Ohio State's been able to do. And you just look at the success that Ohio State has had, at least in putting guys into the league and getting checks. And while Jeremy Ruckert hasn't necessarily been able to break through with the Jets yet, I mean, he's making a nice little living there with what he's got, and Ohio State has a proof of concept, and there's going to be opportunity. I mean, immediately, because Ohio State is still kind of trying to figure out what the position looks like. I mean, obviously you have Cade Stover, you have G. Scott Jr., who moved over from wide receiver, and then you look at guys like Joe Royer, and you look at Sam Hart, I believe, and Bennett Christian, who came in the most recent class. Some of these younger guys haven't necessarily been able to grab the ring yet. So there's going to be an opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be a matter with Jelani Thurman, as you had mentioned, of getting the offensive playmaking taught. I think it's going to be a matter of he's going to have to spend some time with Mick. He's going to have to bulk up and not lose some of that great catch radius and things that he has going for him.
Yeah, it's an interesting position right now. We don't know if Cade Stover is going to be back next year yet. There seems to be a relative split on that, and talking to different sources on whether he's actually going to be back or not. They're looking in the portal. Whether Stover's even back or not, I don't think it matters. I think they're actively looking in the portal anyway.
They're looking at the Dupree from Maryland. Yes.
Yep. So, and I personally, like I said, even if Stover comes back, I think they were going to be interested in adding another tight end to the room. So there are, as you mentioned, there's some guys who've been in the program a couple of years now who we're not giving up on yet, but they have not, taken their opportunities in practice and things like that and run with them yet to the point where they're getting major minutes. I do think they like Bennett Christian, the true freshman, but it's a room with as much open competition as I think any position group on the roster right now heading into next season. So there's an opportunity there if he can come in and show he can block and put on a little bit of weight and, pick up the playbook. So that's going to be interesting. I think the physical talent is there to be a really good player. I think, again, bulking up, blocking, and then again, where does Ohio State want to go with this position? It feels like we're trending more toward, again, Cade Stover is a good player. He's not, he's not exactly Travis Kelce in terms of like run after the catch or, pure athleticism. So the fact that they're throwing the ball this much to Stover would seem to indicate they'd like to continue that trend moving forward. So this could be the right guy at the right time for them, I think. But again, I think Keenan Bailey kind of keeping this together at the end was key. I think this would have been a tough one to lose at the very end, just because of, you could have argued they maybe needed 2 in this class anyway. They're obviously not getting, they're only signing 1 here today. So to sign 0, I think would have been a tough pill to swallow. So good job there by Keenan Bailey to keep that one together. And again, high upside prospect here. So appreciate everyone watching. We will have more of our signing day recruiting capsules throughout the day on BuckeyeHuddle.com, on YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle, and on your podcast platform of choice. But signing off for now, and we will see you on the next one.